Hey guys, in honor of the now over 50 subscribers, I've decided to do a little early video. I was going to save these originally for some other stuff, but just give you an idea of what I've been doing. I'm almost to 100 ultimates, obviously including mostly customs. So the first one I got from a different collector, and I had this $1 Million Man. He put this one together, and I liked it, except for if you look closely, there's a little bit of skin discoloration down here. You can see a little bit more of a crevice crack right there. You can see my finger sticking through, a little daylight right there. So not to knock him or anything like that, I just decided I was going to redo it, and I'm actually going to send this one away, possibly to have it made into a custom WCW Shane Douglas. Obviously not the head, but the body and such. Obviously I've got different boots for him. I don't know how to paint very well, and I'm not about to attempt it on these kind of figures. Maybe if I get like an elite, and I'll dabble a little bit into that. But I decided I'm going to send that one away. But I decided that before I did that, I had to trade him up. Now, I didn't keep the toe articulation. I could switch the boots, of course. I may, but I haven't decided to. But I decided to do my own version. No chest hair. Much more balanced with the lower elite look. This is what his elite looked like. He wasn't very tan or dark. Didn't have any chest hair, and honestly, I think it still works. He's not as bulky or big as this one was. You can see there's almost a huge height difference there, so I'm okay with that. I might put the elbow pads on there, but I don't remember him wrestling in elbow pads. And I thought, well, why stop there? I've seen people doing Ultimate Virgil figures. I haven't begun to even try that yet, but I did decide instead to go to completely skip over Virgil and go right to IRS. Now, yes, I need to find a tie, and yes, this shirt was too small. I had to cut the sleeves a little bit, so I'm getting a bigger white shirt to put over this again. This is not glued in there. I'll easily remove the little suspenders, if you will. And otherwise, I feel like, obviously the wrist tape, that's just a Stone Cold Arms, but it does work for Money Inc. Again, I'm going to be fixing him up a little bit more, but I was very impressed with what I was able to do. I basically, again, I just kind of used some torsos. A lot of Stone Cold torsos have been sacrificed to make a lot of these Ultimates, and then I just kind of take the elite portion, lower half, I glue it in there. Sometimes I put spacers to make sure it's not wobbly or loose. You get, no rattling. It's not gonna, it does fully articulate. It does turn, but obviously this thing keeps it from turning very well. This thing and the shirt as well. But really happy with it. At first it was kind of wobbly. I had to put a little bit of spacer stuff in there, which I used just an old Undertaker vest from his Ultimate that I cut to make my Boss Man figure. I just snipped pieces. I carefully placed them in there, and then I put the ball or the leg connector into it. Therefore, it kind of rubs against the, as you know, the little white piece. If you are a customizer, that keeps the head from just wobbling around all the time. So this thing has actually some friction to it. So therefore, it doesn't move very much. It can move, but it doesn't just rattle back and forth. So there's those two. Then I decided that I was originally going to turn this into a Kevin Von Erich Ultimate. I already kind of paired him up with a Bob Orton Jr. body, because I had a second Bob Orton Jr. body. And now that I know the release date is December 7th, or at least the pre-order date is December 7th for the Roddy Piper, I've decided I'm going to take my temporary Piper, take the head off, and I'm going to send him off to a customizer. I told him, I was like, if I need to, I'll even send you the boots. If you can just do away with this little color right here, or even just switch out the knees themselves. Whoops. I can go from there, and I'm going to turn into an Alex Wright WCW look. Of course, he just needs more of the black boots. He's already got the red knee pads. The head, I think the guy's been using is he modifies a John Cena head, which looks really good, really well. So therefore, I can add this figure over to my WCW roster to fight with Steven Regal, William Regal, Steven or William, doesn't matter to me. It can be in the WCW Ultimate roster. So that's what I'm going to do with this Roddy Piper as soon as I can order the Metallic Creations one, which is December 7th, which a date which will live in infamy of Pearl Harbor, but now buying an official release Roddy Piper. And yeah, he's gonna have the drop down hips, but that's okay. The head sculpts, obviously they went with more of a NWA red attire kind of classic throwback look, but this is perfect for a Alex Wright. The body's perfect for it. Just need to switch the head, switch the lower boots, and get rid of this little decal here, which I'm sure the customizer can easily do for me for, you know, a price, of course, not too much. So there's that. And then finally, again, I'm keeping this video kind of short. I was originally going to use this body. I do believe I was going to try to make an LA Knight, and I was going to use his lower basic torso a little bit, or at least, you know, try to use that little decal, you know, the crotch piece, if nothing else. They don't quite match up quite yet, and I think I'm just going to hold out until his Elite comes, and it's a lot easier because, yeah, the lower half is shaped awkward. I have to like Dremel or saw down certain points, and I don't know if I want to do it with that work. I mean, yeah, I like to have LA Knight in the Elite Ultimate Collection, but at the same time, I'll wait till there's more of a fancier gear. But since I destroyed that one, I had to go buy the new basic. But I did find it for the Chase version for what I felt was a good price. It seems like they're going for like $50-$60 right now. I was able to snag it for like $30. So instead, I was like, well, I've got this body, and I got the Bruno Sammartino Ultimate from somebody I bought on the way. Obviously, you know, if they're making Ivan Koloff or something like that in the future, obviously I have to modify or find a singlet I can put over it and make an Ultimate of that. But what better way than to make Ultimate Billy Graham? The Warrior torso. I switched the arms myself because, again, I don't care about the double jointed arms. I don't, you know, if I lose that articulation, so be it. I'd rather have, you know, not have that than be forced with those drop down hips. Of course, you know, this Billy Graham was Mattel released, of course. I think it looks great. I mean, he definitely was jacked. You know, the arms, the biceps are still there. Everything pretty much matches. You can see a little bit of crackage, but it's not. It's just because it didn't sit back well enough. I happened to, unfortunately, pop this one so well that I ended up knocking all the pegs, not breaking them. They actually all came out at once. So basically what I did is I just replied them back in there. But I think during the cracking torso, I think a piece of plastic did get jarred out a little bit, which caused it to not be able to close. And when you're working with fast-drying super glue, you kind of, time is of the essence. There's been a few times where you know, I've almost got my finger stuck to one of the figures, and I'm like, ah. Luckily, hot water can absolve that pretty quickly, and skin grows back. Plastic doesn't. But I think it's a great figure. It's great for the Golden Era Wrestling roster I put together, which, if you follow the Fig Fed News stuff, you're going to be like, why does it say Jew on your roster page? GEW, Golden Era Wrestling. It's going to be like the older guys, the guys before the Hogan, the guys who kind of were more dominant in the early to mid 80s and fizzled out by the 90s, whereas Hogan still was going strong in the 90s. You know, Graham was retired by then practically. I think he did some Karate Master gimmick in WCW before his official gone, but he was no longer world champion material. Bob would come back in the the New Gen era, so I kept him in the New Gen arena because his looks from New Gen, not before. But I'm hoping, you know, I'm waiting to see. I know Mattel teased some first time in the line guy coming. If it's Ivan Koloff, if it's Stan Stasiak, if it's Pedro Morales, I'm hoping I can find a way to convert them into a Ultimate to put them in that brand. But if not, they're going to go to the Elite Plus, you know, WWF-A, as I call it, which is like the WWF, you know, AC, you know, what is that? No, not BC, but like just basically like the, oh, I forget why I call it WWF-A. I think originally, no, WWF is something. It was gonna be originally something like Diamond Dallas Page. It's gonna be like the guys who just don't have Ultimates yet. I may end up changing the name because it's kind of like the Harley Race, the Bam Bam Bigelow, the Vader. It's kind of like the guys who I can't turn into Ultimates because their waists are too big. Obviously, they don't have a big boy Ultimate style yet. Yoko's coming, but he's gonna be way too big. So until they go with an Earthquake or they go with a build like a King Kong Bundy or a Bam Bam or Vader, you're kind of limited on what you can do. Yeah, with the Earthquake and Typhoon, I could throw their superstar singlets from their the Walmart line onto them and whatnot. They might look a little funny. They might not at all. But until I get a proper body for that, Otis is getting close, but it's not double jointed. And again, they don't have a wide enough double jointed Ultimate torso with butterfly joints, and I keep them, the same figure style. I know that somebody told me I could do a Shane Douglas just with like an Edge body or even a Shinsuke body. I'm like, I want the double jointed arms, because the double jointed arms are great for, putting someone in the full Nelson. They're great for more posing. I know that one of the customizers on YouTube sells his stuff. He loves to do this kind of stuff, like posing way back like this. It looks kind of interesting, but I don't knock his figures. I know that he's actually taken some of my work that I've sent to him and shown him and copied it to sell online. Maybe not. Maybe I'm But last time I checked, I showed him a picture of a Gunther figure I built, and suddenly there was a Gunther on eBay. So, but if so, I'm okay with that. I don't care. We're not getting that many Ultimates. I know that everyone's clamoring for CM Punk, and that's really cool. He came back. And I hope they do make an Ultimate of him. I hope they don't drag their feet on it. Of course, if they make an Elite, I'll probably buy both. And then when it comes time to torso swap, I'll swap, because being the fact that I don't like drop-down hips. So, anyway, I want to thank those now 55 subscribers. Slow and steady. I'm not trying to win a race, but here's a little bit of sneak peek of some of the stuff I've been working on. In January, I will be relaunching the FigFed thing. It's up until December 26th, and then you might notice that it looks different. You might notice that the rosters are now different, and the champions are now different, because I ended up kind of hard booting and resetting, like I said in one of my previous videos, simply before the fact that I wanted to kind of coincide with the month for the pay-per-view. So it wasn't like SummerSlam takes place in February. So I kind of had to redo everything. I did make more brands. I did split the roster a little bit more. I did also limit the card matches and limit the pay-per-view amounts. So you're not going to see everybody at every show. You're not going to see people wrestle every week on every show. It'll be alternating. Some will do once a month. Some will be once every other week. Pay-per-views will alternate here and there, so it'll be a little bit less chaotic and not as much clutter. I think I did just shoot the new FigFed video kind of thing, the simulation, if you will. And again, these are not done predetermined. I roll a dice and I go with what the result is, and if it seems like it's a little too asinine, then it's like they win by count out or some sort of interference or something like that. To make it realistic, you're not going to see, Tony Nese beat the Giant, in a regular match without some sort of chicanery. It's the way it works. But nonetheless, I do go with the results. Whoever does win, I just decide how they win. And I can go into further detail if need to on that. But I digress. This video's gone long enough. Thanks again to the 55 subscribers. Keep checking back. In December, there is a prize or a present coming to everybody for those who do like the custom figure reviews, but I'm not going to drop what that is yet. You've got 3 more days of November. I'm now 37, as you've seen in the videos. I plan to do this for at least, as Randy Orton put, 10 more years. I don't know, or until things go. A lot of personal stuff starting to pick up a little bit. As this week's been very hectic. My wife came to town from California to visit me while she's on break from school, and we've decided we were going to try look into buying a house and starting to be a foster home, since she can't have kids and I can't have kids, and we'll be foster parents. So if that obviously happens, things will change a little bit, but I'm still going to be working this job. I'm still going to have all this time to build these guys. In fact, I've got about 10 figures I'm thinking about trying to put together for future videos. So till next time.